Roots and Roofs, where we explore the intersection of motherhood and entrepreneurship in the real estate world. I am your host, Mackenzie Shelton. Join us as we dive into the unique journey of balancing family life with owning a thriving real estate business. Each episode, we will uncover inspiring stories, practical tips, mindset conversations, and expert insights from others who are carving their paths in the real estate industry. Whether you are a seasoned realtor, a prospective buyer, or simply curious about the dynamics of managing both home and career, Roots and Roofs is your go-to podcast for heartfelt discussions and invaluable advice. Tune in and discover how these incredible women are building deep roots from the ground up while nurturing their families under the same roof. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Roots and Roofs. Today, I want to talk about a quote that's been sitting heavy on my heart and kind of rolling around in my brain for a few weeks now. It's one of those one-liners that just kind of hits you really hard the first time you hear it. And then it hits you even harder when you realize it actually applies to your own life and maybe even to the lives of some of your friends and family that are around you. So here it is. If you're focusing on what the other person is doing instead of looking at yourself, you're already losing. I'm going to say that again just in case you need to hear it twice because I definitely did. If you're focusing on what the other person is doing instead of looking at yourself, you're already losing. Now, I'm going to kind of divert a little bit from some of my regular content and speak directly to the married folks for a minute, especially those of you who are maybe really in the thick of it. Maybe you've got kids running around. Maybe you're both working jobs or running businesses, living off 5 hours of sleep and coffee and Jesus and all the things. Maybe your laundry pile has developed its own personality and you haven't had a real date night in, well, let's not count. When life is busy and stressful, it is so easy to look sideways, to look at your partner and think, why am I always the one cleaning up? Why can't they just handle this one thing without being asked? Why do I have to be the one to fix the mood, the mess, the marriage, everything? And I get it, believe me. I've been there in certain ways. I'm sometimes there just on a daily basis if there's things that are starting to pile up around me. But I want to challenge you with something that might feel a little uncomfortable. If you're constantly keeping score, you're already off track. If your focus is on how your spouse is falling short, instead of focusing on how you can show up better, love harder, listen more, serve with a full heart, then you are playing a losing game. And here is why. In marriage, the only person that you can control is yourself. That's it. You can't guilt, nag, manipulate, or love someone into changing for you. But you can lead by example. You can shift the energy in your home by showing up differently. And more often than not, that shift becomes contagious. This has personally happened in my marriage several times. When I wanted to get out of debt and use a very specific method, my husband wasn't quite on board at first, but I started anyway, and then he followed along after he saw progress. When we were in a tough spot communicating with each other, he started asking me, "What can I help you with today?" And now we both ask that almost every single day to each other. So the snowball effect really does happen when you start again focusing on yourself. So I want to ask you, are you watching their every move, or are you watching your own heart and what you are contributing to the relationship? Now, I know some of you might be thinking, So what? I'm just supposed to keep giving even though I'm not getting anything back. And this is not about staying in a one-sided, unhealthy situation. I'm not talking about enabling toxic patterns or pretending like things are fine when they're not. I am talking about focusing your energy on the one person that you can actually change, which is you. Because here's what happens when we flip the focus inward. We stop waiting on someone else to fix things. We reclaim our power to change the atmosphere. We stop playing the blame game and start building a better foundation. And here's honestly the really beautiful part. When you work on yourself, everything around you starts to shift. Your energy, your attitude, your clarity, even just how you wake up in the morning and how you feel about yourself, some of your habits that you work on, everything changes. Sometimes your partner sees it and rises to meet you. Sometimes it inspires change. And to be honest, even if it doesn't immediately, you personally still grow, and that's never wasted. So let's kind of zoom out a little bit. This quote doesn't just apply to marriage, it applies to just about everything else in life. I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners and real estate agents, and the ones that stay stuck the longest, they're the ones constantly watching what everyone else is doing. I hear things like, she's growing faster than I am. They're posting better content than me. Why are they getting more likes, even more listings, more opportunities in the real estate market or in sales, whatever it is? You start getting bitter instead of getting better. You start questioning your own voice, your own strategy, your own timeline. And then guess what? That's when you actually lose. Not because the other person is doing something wrong, but because you stopped running your own race. Comparison really is the thief of joy, but it is also the thief of momentum. You can't build something beautiful if you're always looking sideways. Your energy is better spent on sharpening your skills, refining your systems, and building something that is authentic to you than counting someone else's wins. You don't need to clap for everybody, but you do need to stop letting their path distract you from your own. Back to relationships for kind of just a second. I think what I'm saying also applies to friendships. If you're constantly judging your friends' priorities, their parenting, their choices, are you really showing up with love? Sometimes we get so wrapped up in trying to fix or control or critique the people around us that we completely miss the opportunity to grow ourselves. I know that this is something that I am constantly working on myself because my personality is very let's just do it and fix it and here's some advice and like just go do it instead of asking questions and giving people time to reflect and come to solutions themselves. We can, sorry, I messed up for a second. The truth is, if you want better friendships, better marriages, better business partnerships, a better business period, you have to start with you. Ask yourself, am I showing up the way that I want to be loved? Am I working on my own blind spots? Am I taking responsibility for my energy and my expectations? It's not glamorous. It is not easy to do this, but it is transformative. Let me tell you, some of the biggest breakthroughs I've ever had in my own marriage didn't come from being from some like big dramatic conversation. They came when I stopped pointing fingers and started working on myself. My own communication, my own tone with my spouse, my own pride, my own ego, all of those things, like our marriage has become better every time I have looked inward. And ironically, when I stop trying to fix the other person, that's when things actually start to change. Not because they magically became perfect, but because I started becoming more patient, more peaceful, more present, more understanding of that other person. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, yeah, but my spouse is really doing X, Y, and Z and it's driving me crazy. Again, I hear you, but let me ask, what would it look like for you to lead in love? To soften, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to choose peace, to let go of being right in order to build something more important, which is connection. At the end of the day, we all want to feel seen, known, and appreciated, but we spend so much time trying to get that from others and so little time making sure we're actually giving it. So here's your reminder. If you're constantly focusing on what the other person is doing wrong, what they're not doing fast enough, what they're not doing in the way that you would do it, how they're dropping the ball, how they're not meeting your expectations, you are missing the chance to grow. Because the real win is mastering yourself, your responses, your mindset, your energy, and the love that you give out to other people. And when that becomes your focus, you'll be amazed at how the world around you begins to change. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a challenge. This week, when you catch yourself mentally listing what your spouse, your coworker, your business partner, or your friend is doing wrong, stop. Take a breath and turn the mirror inward. Ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? Am I communicating clearly? Have I asked my partner, friend, or coworker what I need from them very specifically? And how can I show up better today? You are not responsible for how anyone else behaves, but you are responsible for how you respond. And that's really where your power is. Thank you for hanging out with me today. If this resonated with you, please share it with your spouse, a friend, or someone in your business circle who needs to hear it. And if you're doing this work, the quiet, often invisible work of becoming a better version of yourself, I do see you. Keep going. You're not losing. You are growing. And until next time, take care of yourself and the energy that you bring to the world. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening to Roots and Roofs podcast today. If you loved today's episode, please let me know. I love hearing from you on Instagram and Facebook, so feel free to send me a DM or tag me in your stories so I can share it too. If you're looking for more information about today's topic, please visit my website, mahoganyacres.com, and all of the information that is listed in the show notes below. Until next time.